Yeah, so we only take 2 though is the thing. Because we're resilient and we make a toxoid. So that wasn't their best choice. And now they're trapped. Oh, we are going to die. That's fine. Cool. OP's on it. Hello, my name is Dominic Underhallhouse and welcome to another episode of Moonbreaker. In today's episode I'm going to be going into another game, but what I'm going to do is play the viewer list that we had a couple of videos ago, and we made a few tweaks to it and we put in, a few things that we thought might keep the flavour of the list, but just upgrade a couple of units in places where I think it made sense, and also just make a few changes here and there. So the list we're going to be running, we've got Deadeye and Saria and Stitchy as our 2-drops, we've got Florio, Hit and Run, Aria, Taria, Amplifier Bytol, Noxie and Florio Lancer. Now, having looked at this, I do notice that we are missing 3-drops, but I think given that we've got good 4-drop here, good 4-drop here, and we've got a reasonable follow-up, I'm going to just be relying on these units for the early drops, and maybe even missing one if we need to. So I want to try it out as my first sort of instinct went. Again, maybe like a Detonia would work, but I want to keep it fairly authentic to where we started. So we're going to jump into a game. If you've enjoyed this, please do remember to hit that subscribe button. We've had loads of new subscribers recently. Thank you to every single one of you. It's really helped me push towards, we've now got about 8 weeks that I'm trying to aim for, trying to get to 500. A little bit unreasonable, but the best, any help is appreciated. You can also like the video, drop in comments. There's so many lovely comments. I always enjoy reading them. But for now, I'll see you once we get in the game. Okay, we've found a game. We're against Klusek, a level 32 Zuna player. So, Zuna's interesting with Zhou because our plants won't deal much damage for shooting, but they do quite well with you be able to place them and deal damage through Mahan's field. I've got a few questions about Mahan's field at the moment because you'll notice there was a video a couple of days ago where I've got some comments and I haven't replied to yet, so I will get round to those. But there was a couple of interactions with Mahan that confused me. So, if you're even touching the field in the slightest, then you get the debuff. However, the way that it's worded in the ability, if we have a look here, create obscuring area, all units in area have minus 50% accuracy. So to me, that says that we can shoot into it without having any accuracy reduced, which seems a bit weird, but I'll take it if that's the case. If we can try that out today, that'd be really interesting, because it sounds like it's only units in that area specifically that actually get a debuff. So we're probably just going to play Deadeye here, and if they put it in front of Toltecan, we'll just learn our lesson, put it down, take a shot, see what happens. Okay, unfortunately they didn't spend anything whatsoever. I suppose there's not really any incentive to as the Zuna player right now, because realistically all we're going to do is shoot with Deadeye. So here we aren't going to use our fertilised soil. I quite often would normally like to, but I want to be using Deadeye here. What I want to do is I was trying to see if there's any way we could get in here and still get a reasonable shot, but not really. So just come out here, release the Ozos, and take a shot. There's no reason not to push the captain. There's no point in putting it over there because all they're going to do is just basically be absolutely fine because they're just going to heal Toltecan next turn anyway. So there are 3 points on this, but they are basically 1. You're not really going to lose your home one, you're not going to lose your other one very often whatsoever, and they're going to be able to deploy on this, but the question is, can we move up and deal with that? I think we can. Okay, so they're going to put something down here to... if I was them, I'd be deploying here and trying to deal damage across to Deadeye. They could also deal damage to Thornvine, stop that triggering, which makes sense as well. They could go for the Syndicate. Wow. So just straight to Bulwark. That is a bold decision. Okay, so we do get to test this now. So Bulwark does a lot of damage, which is really interesting. So does that mean here... So it does reduce accuracy. So the tooltip... I don't understand how it's reducing 47. It looks as though... So the low visibility and the deploy Mahan are 2 different things, and they don't really work in conjunction as well as we might like. So we'll shoot this first, and then we're gonna move over here initially. The interesting thing is we might be able to just go for Aria up there. What do we have to deploy? mean, Furia's not a bad call, but if we can't get Furia somewhere safe, let's fertilise soil on these. Because what I want to do is put Furia somewhere safer, so if we can move over here, put Furia back here, keep her safe from Toltecan.
Someone attack me!
Yep. And then we can pop ourselves down a Thornvine, I guess, over here. And then Deadeye is just going to move as far back through this as we can do. We may still be hit. If we lose this, it sucks, but we still hold the point at least, and then we're going to consider next turn dropping Arya over here. Okay, so we're getting damage onto Toltecan, which is nice. And what I really am curious what their accuracy is going to be through there. Okay, so that's them contesting, that's fine. The good thing here is we can actually just one-shot this, take it back, and if Zuna wants to come anywhere near, they're going to start taking a bunch of damage. So this is reasonable from them, they're going to go for that sort of approach. I do think Mahan's Field needs a reword if that's how it's going to function, because that doesn't actually work the way it should do. So we're going to start blocking Toltecan out. We're probably deploying Arya back here, and maybe even just trying to deal with something probably this direction, because we don't really want to compete with this. This is a mobile, we just... Okay, that's good for us as well. Especially if we can deploy another plant in range. I don't think we quite can, but... Well, if that's their debuff field, the interesting thing here is, are they going to be able to hit through this? I think they will. Yeah, they've got that kill. That's fine. 96%. I'd be very surprised if they didn't. But they can't really get to it. Okay, so what do? We could Severe and Stitchy. Where can we deploy a plant? Not fertilizer, plant Thornvine. Oh, we are just out of range. So, we obviously want to protect Furia. She's howled, so we just move this way. I move over here. We can't Thornvine anywhere useful, so I'm just going to Thornvine back here. Trap Toltecan in place. And then what we're going to do is we're going to deploy Arya. But we're going to want to stay out of Severia's range. And so go for something like this. So just take that point away. We could push on Toltecan. He's not really going to take any damage here is the thing, so... Let's just push on Zuna. I think this is a world where we could actually deal with Zuna here. Buffing things up here is nicely. We've got a big Arya, so really we could... not Arya, Furia. So there is actually a world in which we could look at maybe even trying to one-shot the enemy captain. I think they've got enough tools to come over here and deal with this, admittedly. But we're not out of the woods. Sorry, they're not out of the woods. Like, we've got multiple things that can come over here. This doesn't do anything anymore. It gains some Cinder, but it was one and done. It did kill our Deadeye, though, which is unfortunate. Maybe I could have found another way to keep Deadeye alive, put a plant in the way or something, but we've positioned on purpose to try and avoid this having anything to do. It's a waste of a resource. It's essentially just irrelevant at this point. So what they place over here is, yeah, this doesn't matter. Like, we'll take 2 damage and a howl. I don't think that got howled. No, it didn't. Okay, good. Ooh, Balam. Interesting. So, we might be able to deal with that. What we're up to? We're up to 5. So, can we get... So, Furia's stuck a bit there. What if we do Taria and then Rapid Fire? We're still a little bit short of dealing with Balam. We could do this.
No more happy hours.
I think this might be a situation where we actually want to save some leadership. So, we can't move here is the problem. So what I think I'm going to do is actually just push for captain damage again. So if I go, say, hit and run here, move that around here and hit this. And then just move somewhere like here. Out of the way enough that it's inconvenient, but nothing drastic. going to fertilise soil here. I'm going to move down. Let's move to here, I think. We'll plant our thorn vine just in front of this. And then,
My stomach is
honestly, I think
terrible.
Arya just stays where she is. Yeah, this is fine. So, we're winning on objectives now is the thing. We're gradually chipping away at Toltecan. Like, they still don't have any good angles here. They've got this. This is the best they've got. So they can potentially get onto hit and run. Oh, are they out of range on that as well? Sorry, out of line of sight. I think... I wasn't particularly thinking about this when I placed it here. But if this is out, then that's perfect. Toltecan can't really move. Because anywhere it moves is going to be awkward. Yep, the howl still exists. Balam still has to go for the same stun every time. Or it's going to just be a nightmare for Balam. So now I think we're in an okay spot. Again, just pushing captain damage or just waiting until we can deal with Balam itself. Yeah, so this is fine, but we're going to score another point next turn. But if they can't get away too far from this, we might be able to start looking at something here. Like, if we can try and... Oh, interesting, they've made some good deployment decisions. So this is their Florio, yeah. So their Florio can bombard, which is absolutely fine. We knew that was a possibility. We've got our own Florio coming a bit later,
I know.
but we can actually just start chipping away at this immediately.
Hard to focus, huh?
So what do we do?
Your turn. You have a 1-point lead.
So we've got 93% onto the captain. I think that's a good choice.
The rival captain's health is at 50%.
Do we have anything else that ignores line of sight? Not really. So Taria could be good. Ah, we're actually in trouble here slightly because we need to heal a bit. So this puts us at a 50% chance of hitting, but I think we're okay with that. We'll just push that through. We missed anyway, but that's okay. I think just touching in here,
Stay on your toes.
rapid firing ourselves, and just arguing with Florio over 2 turns is pretty reasonable. We can plant an additional thorn vine somewhere. Again, I don't know if we even need to. I think we're just going to place this here to make life easier. I actually think Arya's also fine there. I don't really want to move unnecessarily, because if we move, it puts us in risk of things. We would have to spend Cinder next turn that we don't want to.
Opponent's turn. You
Okay.
have a 1-point lead.
So Florio's going to be an issue here because I thought we were in range. I thought we'd healed ourselves one there. So Balam is still a threat. This is fine. We don't care about this. This is all right. Our own Florio is going to start putting damage out here as well. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I didn't think they'd have that good of accuracy there. I thought that was going to be much worse. So this could be their hit and run. Crash. Wow. Okay. So Crash is going to be a problem. How do we deal with that? Okay, so we're going to have 8. Noxie might be our way of dealing with this and just putting a Toxoid down. And then dealing with that next turn.
No one is in the lead.
So if we... Hang on, why can't we deploy... Right, is there no space? Okay, so... This is very awkward because we can't actually get over there as easily as we'd like. So... This is stunned.
My stomach is in revolt.
So can we just move out here slightly, I think? Okay, we're going to need to get some camera angles going here, which is awkward in itself. Let's just go with... That looks like about right.
Underestimate me.
So we go for that. So we do need to find somewhere for Noxie, so I think I'm just going to move back here first. Deploy Noxie. Of course we messed this up slightly. Plant a Thorn Vine next to Noxie. Trigger this. Make a Toxoid. Toxoid comes over here.
Now you've done it.
Hits Crash. and then we're just going to shoot. I guess Crash. Doesn't really matter. Saria and Stitchy could have come down and could have been useful. Oh, I'm not on here. Oh, I should have definitely put one down here. So that attack back happens, but then Crash is down to 1, so that's perfect. I don't... Yeah, I mean, this is a lot of damage. They might be able to clear us up here. I don't think Toxoid counts as a crew. I'm not sure, actually. Maybe it does. But if we can Florio somewhere useful, we could be alright here. Yeah, so Crash is dead. This is a minor inconvenience. Okay, so we lose Toxoid. Does that get them a point? It does, so even spawned Toxoids get them a point, but now Noxie is massive. So Noxie comes over here. Yeah, so we only take 2 though is the thing. Because we're resilient and we make a Toxoid. So that wasn't their best choice. And now they're trapped. Oh, we are going to die. That's fine. Cool. OP's on it.
Your opponent has a clear point advantage.
Yeah, they may be in here. Okay, so what do we do? Like, do we just try and put damage onto the captain? Do we try and deal with the crew? How do we slow this down enough? We haven't really been able to get to Balan, but this turn we might be able to. But I don't know if it's enough. Okay, so they've got the heals going on here. Our plants should do some damage.
Your turn. Your opponent has a
I think this might be a Florio situation where we play our own Florio to try and deal with theirs. So I actually think Toxoid might even just want to stay there. Arya's gonna move back to contest this properly for once. Stillness and shoot. So we get that damage in. We're going to place our own Florio down over here, I believe. Yeah, so this seems good for Florio. Keep it nice and safe. And bombard these 2. Don't think we can quite get Saria. No, not quite. So let's bombard both of those.
The rival captain's health is low.
And then we're going to move up here. This doesn't seem sensible to move. What can we deploy? Stitchy or Saria? So if I deploy Stitchy over here, then that keeps this contested.
You have deployed 5 out of 6
Okay.
crew on the field.
I'm alright with this. Okay, we're getting damage in here. We're not out of this yet. That's slightly annoying.
Opponent's turn.
But they're still out of range of our Florio, so we're basically on captain damage or bust. They almost have to stun Arya and then just rely on something happening here. This could miss. It missed, there we go. Like, it wasn't guaranteed, but it could miss. So now they need to hold this objective somehow, and they need to stop us dealing damage to their captain, and we've got multiple plants around somewhere. Okay, so this can now just contest.
Be wary.
The Mahan field is going to be important.
Point advantage.
Okay, so they're going to contest over here. That's fine. They can double stun here. Yep, that's fine. We've got Bytol coming, so Bytol could make a difference here. Saria could help. How much are we going to have? We're going to have enough to play both. So if they don't put that on themselves, then we're in a great spot. But I think either way we could be alright if we can get some good deployment locations.
Always complications.
That miss is really unfortunate. They need to move that field. If they don't move that field, they're in so much... That's a terrible choice. Put it here. They could have saved themselves.
Right there.
Yeah, I mean, they can go for points, it looks like. So we just need to keep units alive.
Your turn. Your opponent has a 2-point lead.
So... Why is that 0%? Can someone explain to me why that's 0%?
Real fur cup holders.
So we obviously go for, like... This is probably the route we take here. I can't actually figure out why this is 0. Okay, it isn't 0, it's 50. So that's fine. So we missed that. Pops the rear down.
You have deployed 5 out of 6.
Try and hit that. 50-50. There we go. We got there. So we did have to churn our way through like a bunch of low accuracy shots, but we made it. So there we have it. Like, it wasn't an ideal showing, but I think everything we played had some use except for Furia. Furia was a little too slow. We didn't quite get it, what we needed to. It took a lot of damage in one go, and we couldn't really... Well, we were stunned for a few turns. I mean, Balam did great work from there, but there just wasn't really an opportunity that felt good to take out Balam. Any level ups? Yay, Stitchy's leveled up. Oh, to level 10. There we go, Max Stitchy. Beautiful. And look, there's our opponent's list if you want to have a look. So there we have it. This was the list that we tried to help out a viewer with the other day. It was quite a lot of fun to play. I liked this. It did feel like Balam was something we struggled to deal with. Like, a crosshair does really good working against Balam. You just put it down, deal 6 damage. A 1 health Balam is much easier to take out. I don't think our opponent had much healing, and I think that's something that they could have done well with, because a couple of things that they could heal here and there, and we'd have really struggled to deal with it. But all in all, a really fun game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please hit the subscribe button. Like I said, if everyone who has watched the videos hit the subscribe button, we'd have already hit the monetization goal of 1,000 subscribers by now, which is ridiculous. So anything you can do if you haven't done that, that would be amazing. Otherwise, likes, comments, I love every single one. I check every single one. It means a lot to me. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and most importantly, have a good day.